Well, Mohammed, you have aptly summed it up as to what is the problem and what is the solution. Because the NEET issue, the problems faced by the students is something that is today dominating the big issue. And in fact, earlier today, the Prime Minister reiterated government's commitment to ensure strict action against the NEET paper leak accused. He, of course, was addressing the National Democratic Alliance, the NDA's parliamentary party meeting, and we know that after that, talking to media, the Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju said that during that meeting, the Prime Minister said that government acted immediately after receiving the information about the NEET paper leak. We also know when it comes to the protesting, the students and of course the Cockroach Janata Party leaders as well. There was conversation yesterday as well. They gave some details and what they expect from the government as well. Yes, there is conversation happening for sure. But yes, you're also right when it comes to the politics around it. This is a political opportunity for political parties, and we know that political parties, being what they are known for, are trying to do what they have been doing. In fact, yesterday we saw several MPs, in fact, also reaching out to the
Indeed.
Also saying when it comes to the Delhi police, they should have not taken brutal action.
That indeed is, the crux of what has played out since the last 36 hours. My colleague Shreya Upadhyay is also joining us from the newsroom. Shreya, this is such a crucial issue, is it not? Because what has happened yesterday is so unfortunate. Many of the students who turned out had turned out with some very honest and very sincere grievances in terms of how examinations have been conducted over the course of the last several years. The fact that the NEET paper got leaked this time round, it was rescheduled, it was conducted again, and that went off smoothly. But the students now want accountability. Has the government shown enough intent in fixing accountability for the lapses that have taken place and in ensuring that this kind of an act does not repeat again?
Well, Saleh, as per the government, it has shown intent. Yesterday when those massive protests were taking place in the national capital, in the heart of the national capital, in fact, JP Nadda, the veteran BJP leader, had posted a tweet where he said that there was, communication, there was a dialogue between CJP protesters and the government, and it is the CJP that reached out. The CJP, of course, claims that it is the government's outreach to us. They extended an olive branch, and that's how the dialogue began. But as far as the government's intent is concerned, that was spelled out by Prime Minister Narendra Modi today when he said that, those who have been involved and accused in this entire NEET paper leak have been arrested, and there should be no playing games with the future of the students of this country. Now, what we're seeing right now is a day after that, Congress party and the top leadership of the Congress party, led by Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, outside near the Prime Minister's residence in the national capital, leading this march and saying that how the police allegedly cracked down on those protesters, and there were visuals of tear gas being used, the kind of brutality that the CJP protesters have been accusing the Delhi police of.
Right.
That should have not happened. And right now we're getting in visuals for our viewers of Union Minister Jitendra Singh now reaching out to the Congress party, to the opposition, saying that we have heard this and we will take this to its logical end. But of course, the government has been trying to placate not just the CJP protesters, but the opposition members as well, who have been voicing their support for these very protests that have taken place in the heart of Delhi. Saleh.
Indeed, that is an aspect that has been looked at and will be talked about, Shreya. But the question here is this. Political parties are jumping in on the bandwagon. They're trying to get more leverage of the fact that the students feel these very real grievances. Rahul Gandhi, for instance, has come out and made a statement that there have been 152 exam papers that have been leaked in the last 10 years, stating that nearly about 7.5 crore students have been affected because of these paper leaks. At this moment, the government is, of course, talking to representatives of these parties. As you mentioned, Jitendra Singh, the union minister there, talking to Rahul Gandhi, standing right next to Rahul Gandhi there. Yesterday, JP Nadda met with representatives from the CJP. These are political wings that the government is dealing with. But the the anger, the frustration which the students have felt, because many of these students prepare for many years for these examinations that they sit through, and for the middle class and for the poorer people, it is these competitive examinations, that are a gateway to some kind of a future that they can in fact dream about. And this is a frustration that a lot of people feel that the government has not adequately addressed.
That's right, Saleh. As we see these visuals from outside the Prime Minister's residence in New Delhi, there are two parallel things that have been going on as far as the student demonstrations are concerned. One is the fact that students have been genuinely very, very concerned about the NEET paper leaks, not just once, but twice. There have been, as you said, students from poor families, from underserved families who have, some of them have even committed suicide tragically. So there have been genuine concerns about not just paper leaks, but the entire education system and how it needs to be reformed. But parallelly, there have been also concern that this entire protest, these demonstrations have been hijacked by political parties, whether it's the Congress party, as we see at the moment, or other opposition members who had been present at Jantar Mantar, joining these protesters in their, demonstrations against the Education Minister, and eventually they call for the Prime Minister's resignation as well. Right now, we're also getting to know that Supriya Sule of the NCP SP has reached Jantar Mantar and joined Abhijit Dipke, who's leading the CJP protests from there. So, there have been concerns about politicians, about political interests, about vested interests dominating these protests, and the entire NEET paper leak issue being overshadowed by several other concerns that have been voiced at these very demonstrations at Jantar Mantar. But it doesn't take away from the fact that there has been paper leak, there has been quite a big concern among students, parents and teachers, academicians, as far as this entire leak is concerned. So the government obviously has to address this. The Prime Minister has spoken about it. When an actual concrete step is taken towards it, apart from, of course, the arrests that have been made, we'll have to wait and watch. But at the moment, the opposition now uniting in different locations across the national capital, voicing their support for the CJP protesters and the students, and upping the ante against the government as far as this entire issue is concerned. Saleh.
Indeed, that of course is the crucial aspect of how the government, of course, goes ahead dealing with this. Shreya, let's also talk a bit about how the Delhi police has, behaved itself in the last 36 odd hours. The fact that the Delhi police simply did not expect the protest to go out of hand in the manner that it did, and the manner in which it dealt with many of these young protesters. There could have been these elements that were trying to hijack the protest, but there were also genuine students who got caught up in the lathi charges yesterday and who've come out and said, listen, we're just students, we want to fight for our rights, but this is how the Delhi police has dealt with this. Is there a different strategy, a different approach that the Delhi police has now said that they would now resort to in dealing with these student protests? Mind you, here we're talking about students who are not even 18 years old.
That's right, Saleh. So, yesterday's dramatic scenes that unfolded in the national capital really led to a lot of concerns. And you and I saw, and, the entire country saw how those protests unfolded. On its part, the police, whether it's the Delhi police, the Rapid Action Force who was deployed there, all of them say that, look, our direction, our duty is to maintain law and order. On their part, the students say that, look, we're just students. We're young students who are concerned about our future. We were trying to take a peaceful march till the parliament. But that's where the clash happened, because the police say that, look, you do not have the permission, you did not seek permission, and you were not given permission to hold this peaceful march or protest, call it what you may, till the parliament. And that's why we saw yesterday that eventually when some of the protesters did reach near the parliament complex, all the gates were shut due to security concerns. The parliamentarians were there inside. But as far as the police crackdown is concerned, whether it's the use of tear gas or, other ways, such as lathi charge and other ways that we saw of how police tried to disperse these crowds, yes, there's been a lot of concern. There's been a lot of questions being raised on how the police dispersed these crowds. They could have let them go, at least till a certain point. Of course, the parliament would have been a big national security concern, but till a certain point, and let them have their peaceful march.
Right.
But of course, the authorities do maintain, and they continue to maintain, that on our part also several security personnel have been injured in the clashes with these students, protesters and demonstrators, and all we were doing were following directions, following orders and trying to maintain law and order in the national capital of the country.
Indeed, that is, of course, what the Delhi police has said. Shreya, thank you very much for joining us and getting us all those insights there. Now, this, of course, is a crucial issue for the government because at the end of the day, the political parties will try to jump in and try get more leverage out of this. But for the students who are out on the streets, the government perhaps needs to engage with them with a different tack. It needs to engage with the students and reassure them that examinations will be conducted in a free and a fair manner without papers getting leaked, because what has happened in the course of the last few months in the manner in which the NEET examination paper got leaked, the way many of these students suffered, because remember, students prepare for examinations such as this, competitive examinations, for many years, and that is the only gateway for a better life to them that they have in their life. And if examinations such as that get cancelled, or if they feel that there are students who have the money, who can buy question papers beforehand, before the exam happens, then that shatters the confidence. What the government perhaps needs to do is build confidence with the students, engage with the students more, and also talk to these opposition parties, but talk to the students. That is perhaps what the government needs to do a little bit more visibly in terms of how it seeks to address many of the concerns that the students have, of course, expressed. Remember, what has happened in the last 36 hours, very unfortunate scenes playing out in the streets of Delhi, in central part of Delhi. The students turned out in big numbers. Things got out of hand. The manner in which the Delhi police has dealt with the students has been called into question. And now we're looking at Rahul Gandhi, the opposition leader there, outside of the Prime Minister's residence. Jitendra Singh, one of the cabinet ministers, is of course talking to him. But the government needs to be talking to students, to schools, to colleges, to principals, to parents in many ways, and to tell them that exams will be conducted in a fair manner, in a watertight manner, in a foolproof manner where papers don't get leaked. And that perhaps would assuage what many of these students would feel at the moment. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.